Hey guys, I think we're rolling here. Good morning, good morning. I have a fresh 9:02 in the morning. Hey guys, what we're going to do today is a fresh Wednesday. So I'm going to give you a quick recap because we're going to talk about the 12 biggest things that you can do to increase your confidence, to boost your confidence for 2021, right? So what we want to do is we want to come on and say, hey, let's if it's up to me, if it's going to be, it's going to be up to me, right? And I don't want to start where you think that, hey, this is a motivation, all those type of things. All these people say, hey, this is just positive talk, all those types of things. See, what we miss, the smallest things that we miss is this, right? It's the thoughts that we do. And the thoughts that we do, they lead to the words that come up out of our mouths. Those words produce actions, and those actions produce a character, and that character then produces a lifestyle. Okay. And when that happens, right, you end up stuck and you end up having a disposition, right? And see what happens then, you think that everything that is going on around you is about you because you are anti-personal development, right? Because we have this big old chip on our shoulder. I know because that's where I was so many times. And see, and just actually through 2020, right? So what we're going to do is just going to do a recap of the big 12, okay? And then the first one, the first principle that we looked at was knowing what you want, right? Be clear in shaping your own destiny, right? So that's what we want to do. And then the second principle, and that's use those lonely times to get clearer focus upon your calling and your goals. I think that's a big one. That's a big one, right? Use those lonely times, those wilderness times to get clearer focus on your calling and your goals, right? So that's what we talked about previously. Because we just came through 2020, right? And we still have that 2020, residue upon us, right? And then, a couple of things are still happening. So what we got to do is we got to dive inside and say, okay, hey, this time is a wilderness time, maybe, or you're in your summertime. Maybe you're having the greatest time of your life. Okay, so either way, you know what to do, right? So just like they say, the ants, they ready themselves in each season that they're in, right? So that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we understand what season that we're in. And if it's a wilderness season, simply sit back and put something in you that you can use when you get ready to come out of that wilderness, right? And see, when you come out of the wilderness, what you want to do. See if you can see this. Do not seek approval from people. Listen to God's still small voice, right? So we don't want to seek approval from people. Okay, what does that mean? What does that mean, Mike? So, say for instance, I always talk about being a purpose pursuer, going after the things that you want in life, but using a system, using principles so that you can know exactly where you're going to end up. Okay. And see, when you do that, you have a automatic way of tracking and managing, where you should be 2 months from now, 3 months from now. You know how to look at the ups and the downs, right? You know how to look at the seasons because you're outside of the frame looking at all 4 seasons. You're looking at all of the years. You've already made a definite decision to say, hey, I'm going to be in this and I'm going to do it for the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. And I know there's going to be ups. I know there's going to be downs anyway. So I got to choose the thing that I'm passionate about. I got to choose the thing that I've been born to do. I got to do those things that I've been called to do, my purpose, my inner desire. Okay. So as he says here, it's vitally important that you ask yourself this question when the naysayers come, because they are coming, right? When the naysayers come, you may not think so, but I promise you, no matter how good your idea is, no matter how wonderful your mission is, they are coming, right? So what we want to do is we want to insulate ourselves against that. Normally I have my hard hat on so you can see, what we do and how we got to position ourselves as we're going through life, okay? Because you're going to see people that are living by means, right? What I mean is this, they're going to say, hey, they're going to scroll through Facebook and they're going to make their lifestyle adjustment according to a positional meme, right, that they saw on Instagram or Facebook, instead of going to say, hey, maybe that's just an insight of to who I am. And then let's develop some personal development so I can see what my purpose is. Then I can see what what really applies to me. Okay. So when you don't know what your purpose is, there's no way to know what you should be using. What are your tools? What are your principles? Okay. So just like if there's somebody that wants to be a engineer, right? And see, that's what I went to school for. And say there's different ways that we talk. There's, a different way of a lingo and all those type of things. And then there's people that say maybe you want to be a basketball player, right? So there's different ways that you talk, different ways that you have to prepare because of the purpose that's within you, right? So it's so many times that we see just because there's charismatic appeal, whether it's from an individual that we're following, whether it's from a pastor, whether it's from a friend, whether it's from an associate, and we think that, hey, that looks good, so I'm going to do that too, right? And so that's not what God is calling you to do necessarily. Okay. So find out those things that are of importance to you. What are you drawn to most naturally, right? And then develop that. Remember back when you were 5 and 6 and saying, hey, I would love to do this, this, and this, right? Before somebody said, hey, why you want to do that? That makes no money. Why you want to do that? That does this, this, and this, right? So you said, hey, well, I'm going to choose this career because this career makes money, right? Not knowing that just using principles, you can do what you're called to do and use principles with income, cash flow, right? And you can have the type of cash flow you need to be able to pursue your purpose. Okay. So we want to get away from seeking approval from people. We want to listen to that still small voice, right? And the still small voice, right, you can tell because it's, what's around you is more like impatience. It's more like, hey, do this now. It's more like an urgency, right? It's a sense of anxiety. But even when you're going through your purpose, and yes, there's anxiety going through your purpose because it's sometimes a newness that you're going to, but even that anxiety feels good. It feels like, hey, it feels like, how people say your hands itching, right? It's like money coming. I don't believe in any of that stuff, but hey, but that's the difference is how you feel on the inside, right? Because you're being led by the creator that endowed you with certain abilities, right? So you got to go to where you were created, just like fish were created in the water, right? So that's their natural habitat. Take them out of the water. Guess what? You don't have to do anything to kill them, right? Because you took them out of the water. You can just sit them there and nice and pet it and whatever you want to do, but you've taken it out of its natural element. So therefore that fish is going to die. Okay. You have the plant. Plants are potted in the soil. You can't take them out and expect them to live. So you got to plug into your source, whatever that is. Okay. I'm going to say whatever that is, but you got to plug into your source, what God called you to do, right? Even if you have coaches and mentors, you got to get to a place to where you turn off that mind and listen to that mentor and say, hey, if I'm going to lose weight, then I got to listen and submit myself to this character. Right? If I'm going to change my financial disposition, I got to listen to the principles. If I want to enter into the kingdom, then I got to change the way I think, right? They call it repent. Okay. Change the way we think, right? So what he says here is opposing voices get delivered from the people, right? Get delivered. That's the biggest thing that I am being delivered from, because there's a lot of times you can do great for people and they'll still say crap. You can do good for people, they'll still say good things. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because everybody has their own individual things. It's no longer where I blame somebody because I think they did X, Y, and Z. They did that because that's how they are. So what I have to do is say, hey, I have to recoup and say, hey, let me move on and let God separate everything else. Okay. Because me going out and trying to get revenge or trying out to make things straight, guess what that's going to do? That's going to put in that principle of karma or that principle of God not being mocked. Whatever you sow, that's what you're going to reap, right? So we don't want to get involved into that. We just want to, hey, it'll pass anyway, might as well laugh, right? So it's what else I'm going to do? Because I have a choice to choose an emotion. I can choose an emotion of anger, right? I can choose an emotion of revenge and vindictiveness, or I can actually choose and say, hey, I choose happiness. I choose to take these ashes and I choose to turn them in for beauty, right? I choose to get that the joy, the happiness that I want to have, right? If that's the case, then who's responsible for that? Just because something happened outside of me doesn't change what I decide I want to experience. Do you see what I'm saying? So people's going to say whatever they want to say. You got to know that you're going toward your thing. You got to know what you're doing, right? Because that's going to alleviate a lot of pressure. It's going to also help you to decide which decisions that you need to do, rather, right? Decide which directions you want to go. Because if you always are looking at what somebody else is thinking, or you're thinking about, if I make this decision, what's going to happen with the populace, right? You're not going to ever get to that end goal, right? So this is what I want you to be thinking about, is being delivered from the people, okay? And then one thing too, it could be family, it could be friends. Most time it is, because those are the people that are closest to us, and they are wanting to a lot of times just protect you. They want to say, hey, I saw Bebo Pete go through that, and that's what happened. So we take on perceptions, and we cast these projections onto others, and so we say, hey, I really don't want you to fail, right? And see, that's the only way that you're going to get to the end goal. You have to get to a position in your mind to say, hey, I have to fail faster in order to get there, okay? Just like the guy that invented the bulb, the guy that they say invented the bulb, right? He said that, hey, there was 1,000 ways that I found out that didn't work, right? So that's fine, because I needed to eliminate those anyway, right? So you're going through life saying, hey, what is it that I desire? And everything else is being carved out of your way, right? You have the helmet, you have your breastplate, right? You're ready to rock and roll. There's nothing in the world that can get in the way. And see, this is what ties you back into motivation, personal development, because you need that to overcome the things that are coming your way, right? So faith is done what? Faith is increased by hearing, and hearing by the word, right? And see, that faith is increased. That faith that's increasing us is the substance of the things that we're hoping for, right? The evidence of things that we don't see. So there's a circle that we have to get into: word, faith, evidence, right? And when we get into that circle, we can take our mind and our thoughts away from the things that are inundating us from outside. I'm not saying do not be aware, do not be woke, right? But at the same time, keep your empathy so that you can understand what other people are going through as well. Because so many times people come into the business consulting arena and they say, hey, Mike, I want to do X, Y, and Z. And I say, well, who are you going to serve? Right? And it's not that they don't want to serve anyone, is that they have not thought about that, because life has said, hey, you are behind, these bills are behind, your child needs support, you need to go to they need to go to college, you have all these demands upon you. So therefore, we automatically say, hey, I need income, I need cash, I need this thing over here that's going to give me more money so I can solve these problems, right? Not understanding that we don't have a blueprint. We're going out and we're actually making a house by just doing a thumb view, right? We're trying to do a thumb view and trying to build a house and say, hey, I just need lumber, I just need bricks, and put that over there, put that over there. We need a GPS. And a lot of times, people's doubts, and see, make sure I can get that in there. People's doubts are altering your faith, right? People are telling you X, Y, and Z, and you're saying, no. And then they're telling you A, B, and C, and well, maybe. And then I tell you, C, D, E, right? And then you say, well, probably so. And then now you drop your dreams. Man, ain't nowhere in the world. If anybody knows me, they know that's not the case. It doesn't matter about me, So, hey, what you need to decide within you is that grit, that determination, that you will place your chin like flint, right? So that you won't turn around. Okay. You can set your feet on a solid ground, because crap happens. Crap happens. But if you have the solid, because it's not what happens to you, it's not the wind, right? It's not the wind. The wind is happening anyway, but it's the set of the sail. It's how you are positioning yourself. That's how it's going to carry you through life. So if you have your position against the wind that's trying to carry you forward, and you think the wind that is coming, you've labeled it negative, then you're going toward that wind, and you're not going to ever say, hey, this wind is to make me, this wind is to cut me, this wind is to prune me, this wind is to get me to a better position, to make sure that I can grow. This wind is to make sure that I am educated. This wind is to give me a deposit, what I need later on. These things are not negative. That's what's going on with me. These people's doubts, that's what's going on, that's telling me this, that, and the other. This, it's not negative, but it's just showing me maybe holes in where I don't see, and I fill that in, right? So once you get yourself to that place, and see, that's what we teach at Real University, the real you: renew excellence, advance leadership, pursue your purpose by using principles that are promised and that don't ever let you down, right? So that's what we got to do, right? So that's what I want to make sure, is that we do not go through a promise, that says yes and amen, and drop that promise because of somebody else's doubts, because of somebody else's thoughts, because of our own inability to personal develop ourselves, to say, hey, I'm going to discipline myself to create a new habit, because the habits that I have so far has me dependent upon others, has me dependent upon a job, has me dependent upon the government, has me dependent upon the economy, and I'm not creating my own economy, right? So guys, 12 big steps. This is 3, and we'll be going over it, day to day, and we'll be going over step to step, because I know that a lot of times, we don't have time, but we think we don't have time to read. But take the time. We teach a purpose pursuer hour, where we take an hour out of our day. It doesn't have to be 1 hour straight, but 1 hour out of our day to provide context, so that no matter what's going on in our lives, we remember to come back and give ourselves reinforcements. So within that hour, we have 20 minutes of personal development, 20 minutes of listening to good audio, or reading a good book for 20 minutes, right? 20 minutes of continuing education. What's your purpose? What's your passion? Find out, get in there and start cultivating, sharpening your axe. You're called to do this. Then 20 minutes of focusing and research and getting an understanding of what that is, and how to be the best you can be, the real you in that particular arena. And then 20 minutes of income producing activities, right? Is that cash flow tracking? Is that cash flow management? Is that making sure that you have recorded your home-based business deductions? Is that your lifestyle write-offs, right? Is that you're reaching out and helping others? What is that? Your income producing activities. Notice I didn't say going after something that is going to create income, but income producing activities, right? Because the activities will join up over time to produce the results. But so many times we think that the activity, that one activity, has to lead to another immediate result. Like we are used to a job. I'm going to give you an hour, then you're going to give me $10. I'm gonna give you another hour, you're gonna give me another $10, right? But no, life has never worked that way, right? So what we want to do is we want to sow. We want to sow over time the actions necessary, and then we're going to get the results that we need, right? So with that said, I'm going to leave you with a short testimony. And as always, we are sponsored by MyEcon. That is the #1 personal financial success company, where they show you how to increase your income, your cash flow, 5 different ways, right? And that's none of those involve selling. That's why I'm so hyped about that. But listen to what my man, Mr. Nick Woodard, has to say about cash flow.
Hey, what's going on, family? It's yours truly, Nick Woodard, checking in with you. Another amazing day. Hey, real quick, I want to just share my personal testimony on how MyEcon, the personal financial success company, has helped change me and my family's life, right? So before MyEcon, I was living not even paycheck to paycheck. I was living getting paid Friday to being broke on Monday, right? I had credit cards maxed out. I was in debt up to my neck and was clueless about money. So I was introduced to this opportunity by my personal mentor, Mr. Terrence Hill, the founder of the Financial Blueprint Academy, because we believe in giving people a financial peace of mind, right? And he shared this information with me, and based off the first strategy when it comes to cash flow management, I was able to legally adjust my W-4 form as well as my wife's, and we income shifted an extra $700 back into our household each and every month, right? And we took the new cash flow and put it towards our debt. And up to today's date, we have snowballed over $50,000 in debt at the government's expense, right? And on top of that, we have actually cash flowed just over $100,000 by applying these strategies. So I encourage each and every one of you to reach out to anyone you hear who is talking about personal financial success representing My Econ, because we're all about changing lives and we want to welcome you to the financial journey. Have a blessed one. Peace.
So guys, we want to leave you with that and just want to say thank you for stopping by. If you're catching this on a replay, drop your city, drop your state. Let me know where it is that you're calling from. We want you to get involved in personal development, continuing education, income producing activities. And today we went through personal development, right? So we want to talk about the 12 things that's going to increase our confidence for 2021. And if you missed these, you can catch them on the replay. And I'll see you soon, guys. We'll talk about purpose, because I'll see you on the other side, because this side is your comfort zone and it's too easy. Get up, get up, get up. Peace.